So I'm doing minis now, right? So if you want to know what a mini is, it is basically a smaller version of the online competitions that I used to do. But they usually last typically they're supposed to last only like the night that you do them. A lot of people like to do them at night. So that's why I specified night specifically. I didn't even say day. I said night. Yeah, I don't think you needed that phrase. You heard it. You have ears, right? You heard it. But tonight I did do a mini. It didn't go as planned though. We had like 9 people who were joining, and 2 others that were supposed to join that didn't make the cut, and then we had to cut down that 9 to 4 when we started because they weren't in the chat on time. So there's that. And tonight we did do a quick mini, and it was the challenge. That was what we were doing. So the 4 competitors, let's meet them before I go into anything else.
It's taking over, there's no escape. Over your shoulder, don't look away.
It's 4, and it kind of felt like a little bit like a Mario Party, so we kind of started off with the final 4. Other minis though are gonna have different themes of different shows. Some may have the same theme. I'll be like, oh, maybe like in 2 months I'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do like Total Drama Island, and then like maybe a month after that I'll be like, oh yeah, now we're gonna do season 2 of the challenge. You know, and keep it going, keep it fresh. This is stuff that I want to do in between the shows that I'm actually doing to just kind of keep things fresh. And these are our first 4 victims. So of course you're gonna recognize like 3 of them. You're gonna recognize my brother Gio, and then Johnny and Xavier. Johnny was actually in my Instagram version of the challenge where he won, and then obviously both Johnny and Xavier were in the challenge Belleville edition, the actual show, as well as Gio was the first winner of my online competitions ever. He won Gamers Paradise Season 1 back in 2018. And then he kept playing a few games like after that, sporadically, and he was the cameraman for the Challenge Belleville edition. And then we have Janira. Janira was actually supposed to play in 2 games that were both canceled and never actually happened. So glad to see her here, kind of make up for that, because I felt sorry. But yeah, we're playing the challenge mini, and basically how this is going to go is we're going to have a daily challenge where everyone plays, then they're going to have a few minutes to talk, and then we go into the elimination challenges, and it's all happening in one night. So all the eliminations leading up to the winning player happen all in the same night. So just like Gamers Paradise style, I'm going to go over what happened in each round, the big events, who won, who lost, and let's just jump right into the first elimination. And the first player out of the game was Janira. So in this competition, or this week, I guess we'll go by weeks, even though it was all in one night. So week 1, the 4 contestants walk in, and that's Gio, Johnny, Xavier, and Janira. Then they play a game called 3, 2, 1, Go, where if they say the word go before I do, or if they say it last after I say it, they're out. And basically I would try to trick them by saying like words like no or fro, or basically any word that rhymes with no or has the same amount of letters as no, which I tried to keep it at rhyming, but I could have changed it up. It was a game that I played once when I did another competition, not hosted, just played back in 2018. So yeah, I just used it. I never forgot it, so I was like, let me use it. And Gio wins, so Gio comes out on top, and Xavier, Johnny, and Janira were given 5 minutes to kind of talk, strategize on who's going in. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of options, so there's not really a lot to talk and strategize about. So Johnny and Xavier voted Janira, and Janira voted Xavier. It was a public vote, so like there was no surprises there. So I'm not really outing anyone's vote right now. I will in the future though. And then Gio got to decide who goes in against Janira, and he chose Johnny. And then they played a game of rock, paper, scissors, where they would put rock, paper, or scissors in their chat bubble. Then on my go, they would send it in the chat. First to 3 points wins the elimination, and Johnny won, and unfortunately Janira was eliminated. and Gio is actually eliminated. So I'm going to pull up the events right now. So they played a game called Guess the Song. Now, each player only had 2 lives in this competition. So if they got an answer wrong, they lost a life. And so, in the end, after every song was guessed, by the way that it worked, I just realized I was about to forget that, was I would send a voice note with an instrumental of some random song with 3 options, and one of those options was the correct song. So I did that, and after a few rounds, Johnny won and was heading straight to the finale, while Gio and Xavier were automatically in the elimination, which was Guess the Roblox game, where I would describe a game and they would have to guess the game, and if they guessed correctly, they got a point. First to 3 points wins. Now, it ended in a tie, so we ended up in a sudden match where, in a sudden death, where the player who guessed the next game correctly first wins, and Xavier won, and Gio was the second person sent out of there. He was allowed to stay though, and you'll see why in the finale, which we are getting to right now. And we finally get to the final, and Johnny is the runner-up with, Xavier being the winner. It was a Johnny versus Xavier face-off where we did some shadow boxing. Online shadow boxing now. Shadow boxing is this thing where you go like dun 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 dun, and the person basically has to look in the opposite direction of pointing, or in a different direction from where you're pointing, or else they basically lose. So the way this worked is they both had 3 lives, and I had Gio stay in the chat so he could sound us off. And basically each of us would write up, down, left, or right in the chat, and I would write down one of the directions as well, and if any of them matched my direction, they would lose a life. The first to lose 3 lives loses, and winner wins the game, I guess. And almost instantly, Johnny lost 2 lives, and he would have lost a 3rd one immediately as well, but I wasn't paying attention, so he had to reset. Yeah. Every time I don't pay attention, I reset it, so that way it doesn't seem unfair. Then Xavier lost a life, and Johnny lost his last life, making him the loser. And Xavier, the winner. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. What is there to say? Xavier won. I already said everything. Bye!